Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast, where each week we bring you valuable insight and information that directly affects our local business community. I'm Danielle Hawley, and of course, I'm the executive director of the best Chamber of Commerce around, the Fontana Chamber of Commerce. And I'm proud to bring you our Talk of the Town podcast with my co-host, Carlos Garcia of FYI Technologies. Hey, Carlos.
Hey, Danielle.
Hey, this week we have a very special guest. I don't even know that he needs an introduction, but we're going to introduce him anyhow. Mr. Phil Cothran, he is the president of the Fontana Chamber of Commerce, owner of State Farm Insurance, and the list just goes on and on. So I'm going to let Phil talk about himself and introduce himself for those of you that have seen him around. Phil, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, but welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. We're so excited to have you on.
Thank you very much. It is, this is good. I'm excited about what you're doing and what you're getting accomplished and the people that you're interviewing. I have been around for a very long time. I'm old, so.
You're not that old.
My mom and dad came to Fontana in 1952 before I was born. And that's, so I was born in Fontana. I've lived here all my life. I've been to South Tammany Elementary School, Alder Junior High, and then I graduated from Faux High in 1974. So.
Oh, wow. You gave us the year and everything.
Well, I wasn't going to do that, but we're having our 50-year reunion this year. So it's not difficult to figure out that I'm fairly old. So I've been around a long time. You know, I joined the chamber in 1984, back when I was working at the church. I thought I was going to go into the ministry and those kind of things. And I got a phone call from State Farm saying, hey, your agent has retired, and he gave us your name and said he thinks you'd be a good fit. And it has been a different world since then. I took over my State Farm office in October 1st of 1989. So it's been 35 years that I've been doing State Farm. And in between that time, the first couple of years I was working really hard. I had a large staff. I was working late at night, 6 days a week. And then on Sunday afternoon, I'd go take pictures after church to kind of keep up with the insurance world. But it's that has led me into numerous other things. And State Farm has always been that staple, that very, that's who I am. That's who my cars say that I am, all those kind of deals. But shortly after that, before that, actually, I became a reserve police officer with Fontana PD. I'm celebrating 40 years.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Have a very low badge number. All the people I came up with have long time retired, but it gives us a great relationship with the chief and with the police department itself, because I've got that background and kind of keeps that familiarity, and that helps the chamber. It helps everybody that we come in contact with to kind of keep that in. But about 30 years ago now, I became through the chamber, from the workforce board. The chamber had to give a name to the county board of supervisors on who they thought should be on the workforce board, because that's the way they did it back in those days. So I've been on the workforce board. I've been chairman 3 different times. I just came off as the 3rd time chairman, so I'm now past chairman. But that kind of keeps us in touch with workforce, and all those kind of things become really important to our chamber members. So I'm hoping that we're bringing some really good insight to that. But I have been past president of the Rotary Club. I'm the treasurer for the Art Association. I am not an artist by any means.
Numbers.
I was going to say, show us some work, man, please.
But that's they needed someone that had a little bit of a business background, and I love Becky Peck. She's our she's our president of the Art Association. So that worked out really well.
And you have no, you're fine. I love this. This is real life. You are in an office, and I just want to back up just a little bit. So those of you that have driven down Sierra, you've seen the State Farm cars, right? So you're actually in your State Farm office, right?
Yeah.
Holding down the fort over there. And you guys are a very busy office. So you're fine. You've got staff coming in and out. That is real life business is happening. We love to see it. And he's a very busy guy. So thank you so much for taking time to pop on here. But I want to talk about a couple of things, obviously, with you, but I keep hearing this theme of community coming through all of your years and all of your experience. Can you talk about the importance of community and how it's been, integral into your success here in Fontana?
Wow. Even before I took over my State Farm office, that's probably what the management at State Farm saw at that time, that they wanted someone that was involved in the community. This is home to me. So I don't live in another town and come to Fontana. I am from Fontana. I am Fontana. And so community is everything to me. And I don't think most of our business people, and this is probably more relevant to small business owners, large corporations, they function differently. But when you're right in town and your business is right here on Sierra Avenue, I've been in the same location since 3 years after, since 91, I moved here.
Wow.
I owned the building for a while and sold it, and I shouldn't have done that, but now I own the building next door. Community is just everything. When I got involved in Rotary early in '86, I think I became a member of the Rotary Club. It was obvious then that was how I was going to build my business. And I wasn't going to rely on the chamber, but the chamber was a good resource. But it put me in contact with a lot of other people. And as I went to ribbon cuttings, as I went to all the openings and all the different things that were happening, the community became so important to me. It's like Miss Fontana. I became, and I can't have an interview without Miss Fontana. That's been, my daughters both ran for Miss Fontana some 15, 16 years ago. And then the other one ran about 14, 15 years ago. And those, just getting to know parents and people in the community was just so important. And if I could convey one thing to the businesses, if you're a small business and you're not, in a big corporate structure, then community is where it's at. That's how you're going to build your business. I have thousands of clients, 3,000 or 4,000 clients. Wow. And they're community. And it's because they know me from the community.
Well, it's those relationships, right? Relationships are so vital. Yeah, I love that. Is such great insight, especially because we do have a lot of younger business owners joining the chamber, and not even younger, but just early business, right? Early stages of business. And I think people always ask, because there's the economic factors, right? And thank God we have a city that is conducive to business. Fontana, we are open for business, so we've got you covered there. But life is still life, and it can be difficult. And so I think it's that secret sauce, right? If you could give that advice to anybody, is to have those relationships, because that's the foundation of everything. But those relationships come from being involved in the community. And so I feel like that's a nugget. If you guys are listening, write that down. Remember that. Get involved. That's super, super important.
So Phil, I want to ask you. I want you to put on your president hat for the chamber. You talked about community. You talked about relationships. But there's a lot of folks who obviously know you, and folks that don't know you. They don't know the chamber. As a chamber president, also, you've got a great vision. Can you share with us, for anyone watching, why they should join the chamber and talk more about your vision?
Wow. I joined the chamber a very long time ago. That was back in, I believe it was right around 84 when I joined the chamber. There's always things going on in your business, whether you're a small business person and if you're just in an office by yourself, or you're in a home-based business, or you're a massive corporation. There's things that you need help with. And that's where I think we've really shined in our response to our people. Don't you think, Danielle? Yeah. That whether you're a home-based business and you've got a an issue with City Hall, or you need to know somebody at the county, or you need to know there's a bill coming up at the state, if you're a corporation, those are the places that we really step in and help. And we do it for free. I'm not sure quite why we do all of those things for free, but it's the right thing to do. And I have spent more time at the counter at City Hall, helping people to navigate, whether it's a fire department and a high pile storage, or whether it's just an issue that they're having with getting their plans through planning, or getting their plans checked through the building department, or maybe it's the City Hall with a business license. There's just so many things that go on in business that they really need help. And that's not what they're used to. So when they call our chamber, we're there to help them. I mean, I'll literally either go out to their company, or we'll take them and we'll meet them at the chamber, and we'll go over to City Hall and we'll get it taken care of. It's because I have that relationship with City Hall, but I also know the system. I was 16 years, I was on the Planning Commission. I chaired it most of that time. I got off of the Planning Commission when I started raising money. That didn't kind of go hand in hand with the Planning Commission. But that gives me a lot of knowledge. And so consequently, I know a lot of the people that work there at City Hall. I know the deputy city managers. I know Mark, the city manager. I know all 5 of the council people. I talk to the mayor every morning. She's my first phone call typically as I'm driving into the office, and we talk about what's going on for the day, what needs to be handled. Just great relationships with those people. Now, needless to say, my son is a city councilman. That wasn't by design. That wasn't my idea by any means. A couple of the council people talked to him and said, "Hey, you really need to do this." I'm not sure, but he's a great city councilman. John Roberts is my neighbor, and we go way back. I ran John Roberts' first 4 or 5 campaigns. He's been a city councilman for a very, very long time. But just having that relationship with him, Peter Garcia, phenomenal guy, up for election this year, but really has a tune for what's happening in the community. And then Jesse Sandoval, have breakfast with them every month or so, just to kind of keep in touch with what's happening there. So the chamber is the hub in Fontana. And that's where, if you want to be a part of what's going on, and you really want to know what's going on, you need to lock in and get involved with the Chamber of Commerce. I just can't emphasize that enough.
I agree.
And I'll quit
I will tell you, and actually make a comment, that it's one of the very first things that I saw when I visited the Fontana Chamber. And I mentioned this to Danielle before too, and I don't know if you've heard me say this or not, but the moment you walk in, it's just a friendly environment. The fact that I can talk to the president of the chamber, and it's just, Phil just greets you with a handshake and a smile, the moment you walk in. And then it's overall what I believe is what drove me to join you guys, is the fact that it is the hub. You are very business centered. You are all about making sure that the businesses thrive, small, big, home based or not. You include everybody as equals, and as a lot of times I've heard, as a family, which is separates you from a lot of places as well too, that are just about numbers, not about quality. And my hat's off to you being the president, because I know that starts at the top. And so thank you for that.
Yeah. You know what? Danielle says this all the time, and I've started to really understand what she's talking about. It's not just a Chamber of Commerce. When you join the Chamber of Commerce, you join our family. And that's a whole different world. And that's not how most chambers function. And we're large Chamber of Commerce. I'm with she's picking up 15, 20 members a month. Going to be probably the largest chamber in the whole county soon. And it's because she just brings out relationships, and she brings that you are part of the family. And we're not just here to market for you, because you can buy marketing anywhere. But if you really want to understand and you want to be mentored, we have 27 people on our board of directors that are just phenomenal people that are successful in business. She can tie in with some of those people and really give you that insight to how to make your business work.
I love that. I want to continue with what you just mentioned, and I want you to explain to us, because we kind of get these terms confused, and the average Joe may not know that we have a difference here. But you're the president, and then we also have a board of directors, and within our board, we have an executive committee, and we have a chairman of the board. And so two totally different roles. You are on the board, but you're the president of the board. So can you first tell us about what exactly the president does? And then I want you to expand upon our chairman and the board.
Okay. All right. Most people would say the president doesn't do anything. But we came up a number of years ago, because I've been president of the chamber 3 or 4 different times. About every 7 or 8 years, I become chamber, president again. And when I came off of the presidency this year, or several years back, probably 5 or 6 years now, that is the last time I was when the president was the president of the board and of the chamber. We sat down and we were on an airplane coming home from Sacramento, and I said, you know what? We really need to figure this out. We've got some great leadership, some great, phenomenal people on our board, and they need to get into the leadership role of this. But we still need that person that's going to come to the ribbon cuttings, it's going to be the face, it's going to manage the exec and help her run the operation, or him or her, whoever it might be. And we really needed to figure that out. And we came up with the idea that we could take our board of directors, those 27 people, and they could elect a chairman of the board. And the chairman of the board is my boss, Danielle's boss. I mean, they actually, for that year, they are in charge of the chamber. And that gave them buy-in. They run our board meetings. They do a variety of things, but it gave them that leadership ability to come in and to be a part of what we're doing. And then they appoint me, and it has been me for the last 6 years, as president of the chamber. I don't work for the chamber. I don't get a salary from the chamber, but I am that board member that is the face of the chamber, that I come to the ribbon cuttings. You do more when you think of the Chamber of Commerce, you think of me. I represent us at City Hall. I negotiate our contract, with the city. We do all those kind of things. But that is unique to our chamber, because I'm not on payroll, but I am the president of the chamber, but I answer to the executive committee. We have 7 people on our executive committee. They meet monthly. They in touch. Danielle is a phenomenal executive director. She runs our chamber. She is that face. She does. She does a great job. But she has that backup of me. I've got years and years of history that help her in her decision-making processes. She hires all of our staff and runs them. I don't try to do that. I just interface with her, and we talk about what needs to happen next. She runs the staff and the day-to-day operations, which is just worked out great for us. I've talked to numerous chambers, 24 cities in the county. Probably half of them have active chambers of commerce, and they want to know, what are you guys doing? Because we love the way you're making it work. You've got businesses actively engaged, but you've still got an executive director, and it's just a great way to make it happen. Now, Raj, and I didn't say who our chairman was this year. Raj Singha is the Singha group of companies. He owns dozens of fast food restaurants and a trucking firm, and he is just a very versatile guy. He's our chairman this year. Norm Siddiqui is going to be our incoming chairman. Runs
Crown Technical Systems.
I wanted to call you Utility Trailer, but that was Ralph. He was yes, but Crown, and has hundreds of employees, and really just a phenomenal gentleman. It's going to be a great year having him around. So that's how that structure works. I trust I explained it well enough to understand? But I think if I could convey to other chambers that they need, they just need to restructure a little bit and get an active board of directors. That is what makes our chamber successful.
Yeah. And I think you did that. And you didn't really mention it here, but part of you even coming on and really realizing the need for that consistent role as president, right? And then restructuring the board. You also restructured kind of, and I feel like that was a pivotal shift in the history of the chamber, because it set us on the path to success in terms of acknowledging that we are in Fontana, huge manufacturing logistics base, right? So you shifted that, but then at the same time, you had also shifted the mindset of who was sitting at that table in terms of our board of directors, and having the right people at in the right seats at the right, at the table. And so, there's a place for everyone, in the chamber. But I think when it came to your decision-making process in terms of who was actually going to be on the leadership team and the leadership side of things, right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Right. You know what? We don't have a working board. And that is part of the problem with most Chamber of Commerce. They're looking for someone that can come out and spend time at the office and be that working arm. And they have all these different committees and all that kind of stuff. And it's not to say that didn't work at one point in time, but it didn't. Chambers need to have an influence, and that influence comes from the board of directors. Now, we have a great ambassador group, by the way. Ambassadors, they're a fun group. There's 25 of them, 30. I mean, there's a whole bunch of those people, and they come in and they do all of what a lot of chamber boards used to do. But our board, I tell them flat out, this is not a working board. This is a board of influence. I need you on our board because you have influence. You have influence in your industry, and you have influence in our community. And I probably shouldn't talk about this, but they commit to $10,000 a year is what it takes for them to sit on our board. And that's not for everybody. That's a big hit, but we take good care of them in the same process that they give us their influence. When you talk about Mike from Burtech, and you talk about Norm from Crown, and you talk about Ralph Thrasher from Utility Trailer. I mean, these people, the 27 people that either own Rose from
Castle Importing.
Import, great business owners. But these are people that literally own the company, or they're a general manager that is in charge and in a decision making. If you ever have to push away from the table and say, I'll be back on that decision, you don't come back to the table. We have decision makers that can make a decision, so that when I go to city council and I show them the list of 27 board members, they say, wow, what a board.
Yep.
I think I'd like to get along with those people. And then for the people that are really doing, I mean, our chamber has amazing ambassadors, and they've kind of filled that role. But they, our board of directors, they come to 8 meetings a year, 2 board of directors, and we have two months off. We have a retreat in January and a retreat in July. And we have been all over the country. We've been to Park City, Utah. We've been to Maui, Hawaii. We've been to
Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Yep.
We go to great places. We never go to a place that they wouldn't attend. I mean, and we do that because we build relationships. Because if we don't have relationships at the top of the pile, we're never going to have relationships at the level that we need to have them at.
Right.
So that's our board is totally built around relationships.
I love that. And no, I think it's really great that you shared that, because you had the forethought and the insight to make that decision and see that trend coming down. And like you said, there's a time and a place for seasons, right? And I remember when I was Miss Fontana all those years ago, I feel like that was a different era in the chamber, and the chamber used to run the pageant, right? But I remember, who was around then, and some of those people are still members today and in leadership, but I can see the change in leadership. Because here's the deal, as our city continues to grow, as our workforce continues to grow, as our business base continues to grow, we're growing, right? You can't stay stagnant, and you have to grow and adapt and change with the times. And I always tell you this, Phil, I always say, I hate being reactive. I always want to be proactive. And so kudos to you for having that vision and that insight all those years ago to start making some of those proactive changes that would set us up to enjoy the success and really lay the foundation of what we have today, because it was because of that shift And so I think that shows incredible maturity and experience on your part to have seen that and adapted to that. And so now we can sit here today. And I truly mean it when I say that we are the best chamber. And I'm as pro Fontana as it gets, but just in the term of internally, the way that we're structured, the way that we have the relationship with our local elected officials, and just the decisions that have come before where, to bring us to where we're at now and where we're going to go. We're in our 110th year this year as a chamber. And I think, oh my gosh, think about all the amazing stuff that we've done and accomplished. And I just can't wait. I won't be around to see it, but I'm thinking, gosh, next 110 years, what they'll be saying about us right now. And, wow, that Phil guy, our old president, just great job to him for making that shift. And so I think it's great. I appreciate you, and you've been a great mentor to me over the years, and I've known you forever, since I was Miss Montana all those years ago, but it's great that we get to work hand in hand now in this capacity, because I truly do value your insight and wisdom and just that experience. And so that's just another thing that if I can really say to all of our listeners, when you join the chamber, you have such a wide range of experience and knowledge that's there to tap into, but you're going to get out of it what you put into it, right? So you got to show up, you got to come to the events, you got to join, but we're here. So thank you so much. I know you're a very busy guy, for hopping on here. Carlos, thank you so much for all of your help. We're super excited about the podcast. And you mentioned the ambassadors, Phil. And so next week's episode is actually going to be highlighting Pastor Daniel Vasquez from Calvary Chapel, Fontana, who is on our ambassador team. So we'll get to hear from him next week. But again, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you for all that you do for the chamber in our city. And we will see you guys next week on our Talk of the Town podcast with Pastor Daniel Vasquez. Thank you.
Thank you very much.